When people think of animals, they think of the lion leader, or Steve Irwin. If it wasn't for him, the zoos nowadays would be very, very different. His family is currently a big part of the Australian Zoo. He was the person who stood up to say that we should all further explore animals. Now everyone knows the name Steve Irwin. He was so fixated on examining animals that he died doing what he loved most. When people think of Steve Irwin, they also think of the man that got killed by a stingray, but there is so much more to his story. Through his early life to his death and career, awards, environmentism, controversies, he became truly extraordinary. Because of that leadership, his legacy lives on. The early life of Steve Irwin. Steve Irwin was born February 22nd, 1962. He grew up and is from Australia. He got his animal-loving gene passed down from his father, Bob Irwin. He was taught at an extremely young age how to interact with animals without irritating them. Being around animals made him happy. That is when the light bulb went off in his head that he should pursue this phenomenal career of working with animals and telling people, more like leading people, about how amazing they actually are. And boy, did that light bulb light. Steve Irwin's career. He started his leadership and legacy when he started his own show called The Crocodile Hunter on Animal Planet. That then led to him taking over most of the Australian Zoo. His death has left his family and most of the control of the shows and just of the zoo in general. The family has gladly taken on the responsibilities of caring for every single one of the animals in the zoo. Irwin's family includes of his wife Terry and 2 kids named Bindi and Bob. His daughter loves to do most of the shows that Irwin did. His shows are quite fascinating and really show how amazing of a person he was. Bindi has gotten various interviews about what her father was like and especially how he changed her to become a better person, not only in life in general, but especially with animals. As we all know, Steve Irwin was a wonderful person that did wonderful things. But there was one thing that really stood out to me about him that shows pure leadership. Steve Irwin was on a travel trip when he discovered a new breed of turtle. Queensland, Australia definitely recognized him for this amazing discovery. This discovery has changed our world and has added a new breed of turtle to the list of amazing animals. Environmentism was a large part of Steve Irwin's life. Not only would he stand up for the environment, but he would stand up for endangered animals when he felt like he needed to. Observing animals is not observing animals. It's more of either climbing up a tree or swimming in a swamp to discover something that is extremely unique. And that is exactly what Irwin did to get us to where we are today. He has this special part in his heart that makes him just love the environment and want everybody else to. If it wasn't for him, we would probably not have some of the endangered species that we have today. Although they are endangered, it's better than having them extinct. This was all Irwin. If he saw that an animal was on the endangered species list, he would stand up for them like they were people. Although Steve Irwin had a wonderful, excitement-filled life, there were some bumps in the road, as we call it. Controversies occurred when there were some close encounters with animals. He would let his very, very young son feed crocodiles. Crocodiles, although at the time they may have seemed okay, are still wild animals. Bad things could have happened. The crocodiles were not full grown. If they were, I know Irwin would never do such a thing to put his son in danger. But still, these crocodiles were not little itty-bitty babies. His son could have gotten seriously hurt because he was still holding what they were after, aka the food. If his son had gotten hurt, Steve Irwin would feel extremely guilty and not know what to do with himself if such a terrible accident occurred. Steve Irwin's death was an absolute tragedy. The day was September 4th, 2006, and he was just a mere 44 years old. It was in the ocean where he was trying to get a good angle on a stingray for his show, The Crocodile Hunter, when he got too close. The stingray spun around and struck him in the heart, sadly ending his long and exciting-filled life. His last words were, "I'm dying." His best friend, aka the cameraman and producer for his show, The Crocodile Hunter, witnessed his entire death. His family was so devastated by not having Irwin's presence at the zoo anymore. It touched so many other people that they were willing to help the Irwin family with anything they needed that could help them get through this absolute terrible thing that happened to a very amazing person. What does it mean exactly to have a legacy? Does it mean people have a national day for you? Does it mean that some people will pray about you? Irwin's legacy was more of just remembering what an amazing person he was and the amazing things that he was able to accomplish. If having a legacy would also mean having billboards all around Australia with your face on them, then that's exactly what also happened to Irwin. People were touched by Irwin's complete obsession for his love of animals. Steve Irwin was a man that observed animals because he had such a strong love for animals that he died doing what he loved most. And everyone will think of him as a man that inspired zoos to really think about animals and explore them. His legacy was important because it opened up a whole new idea on learning about animals, that you can just go out in the wild and just see what comes to you. And that pure leadership that he had to make a stand, to prove his argument, to get people on his side, to feel like he is not alone in this world. Animals were such an important part of his life that he made it his life mission to make sure that everyone knew the name Steve Irwin. And boy, do we now. If it wasn't also for him, what would this report be about? I do not know the answer to that. But a legacy was crucial to his life because he wanted people to just remember the animal part of his life. Not the part of him dying because of a stingray, but the part of his love for animals.